Hello dear student, as you know that we are studying your fifth unit, and today I am going to discuss with you. The topic is the energy crops, and I think you should aware about that. Only two topics the remaining in this unit. First one is that energy crops, and second one is that what are the drawback of genetically modified organism on the environment, and what are the criteria which we have to follow at the time of releasing GMO in the environment, and what are the guidelines we have to follow. Okay, Indian guidelines or international guideline for the releasing of that kind of material in the environment. So first question arises that what is the energy crops, and why we are doing by studying that in 6th semester in a particular of this in this environmental engineering subject. So as you know that I think you should have the idea about that your fossil fuels. The fossil fuels are going to the depleting very a particular rate, and they are depleting, and the rate of the consumption is going to the increasing day by day. So that's why there is a we have very lack of time to and we have very lack of biofuels. So we have required to that change, and we have to find other resource of that kind of biofuels, and that can replace our fossil fuels. So here we have a chance by utilizing energy crops for the production of biofuels. So there is a we can say that can be a sustainable replacement of our fossil fuels. I think you also know about that about the word of sustainability. So sustainability is the kind of phenomena that is told to us about that kind of product we have to use, so that we can achieve the sustainability. We don't have any kind of worry about that. Oh, after 5 years we don't have we don't have diesel, and after 10 years we don't have petrol. Then what will we do? Okay, how can we run our car, and how can we run our bus and other kind of vehicles? Okay, so this is the main aim to study about that topic. So later look about this. Energy crops are the low cost and low maintenance crops grown slowly for energy production. Okay, not for food. Understand? Not for food. Now we are growing that kind of that kind of crops only for that production of energy. Okay, so this is the very crucial point. The crop are proceed into solid, liquid, and gaseous fuels. By using this kind of energy crops, we can produce solid biomass, liquid biomass, and gaseous biomass. And this biomass we can use for the different production of different kind of products, like as a bioethanol, biogas. And you know that biofuels are the source of energy and source of heat we can generate by using by using these kind of crops. Next is that are the versatile fuels. Okay, as we have discussed about that also you can say the sustainable sources of energy production. To keep up energy are currently grown utilizing the bioenergy as short rotation copies. So species that we can't if suppose that we have 15 20 year or 60-year-old plant. Okay, and so you know that 60-year-old plant can give you so much amount of biomass. Okay, so for the another plant, you can't wait for the another 60 years for this kind of biomass. Okay, so there is a need to we have that type of crops we can generate very quickly of different that amount of biomass. So that is the current requirement. So here we can use genetic engineering. Okay, as you know that for that production of the development of that kind of plant, that kind of crops. Okay, and the engineering crop feedstock input the bioenergy value chain of production of heat and electricity, different kind of applications we have. Now next is the very important criteria about the bioenergy crops are the characteristics. Plant species with the fast growth, we require tolerance to biotic and abiotic stress. I think you know about that. What is the biotic and what is the abiotic stress? What meaning of that biotic and abiotic stresses? And we require low requirement for biological and chemical and physical pre-treatment for this process of this kind of biomass. Okay, suppose that you are using this kind of crops. Now first one is that characteristic we should have, that is the agronomically bioenergy crop should require low input establishment, need low fossil fuels input, should be adaptable to marginal land and provide high biomass. So that is our main criteria. Next one is that ecophysiological trait that can help to change thermal time sensitivity to extend the growing seasons, increase the above ground biomass without depleting below ground biomass, include a high growth rate, response to the light competition, efficient light capture. These criteria should be that present in our energy crops. Now last one is the biochemical composition, means the carbohydrate content should be higher, protein content, lipid content should be higher. So if suppose this kind of things are is available in our particular crop, so that crop is very useful for us. These are some that characterization, or you can say differentiation of different type of plant in the that you can see, like as a first generation, second generation, third generation, and the dedicated biomass bioenergy crops, and last one is halophytes. So first one is that first generation plant. What is the first generation plant? That the plant is that crop, that corn, sugarcane, rapeseed. So these are our first generation plant that utilized at the beginning of that production of biohydrogen, bioethanol, and other kind of product. Now second one is a very important biofuel. Biofuels are we can generate, like as alfalfa, that reed, corny grass, and miscanthus. Miscanthus is very important plant. So much study has been done on this plant, and that is very useful plant for the energy production. Switchgrass also very useful for the energy production. And bioreal plants and chem plants and eucalyptus and microalgae are the third generation plant. And dedicated bioenergy crops are that crops that having the very short rotation time period. And these are the, you can say in this class we can put the herbaceous plant, like as a bamboos, potato, mint, ferns. So you can see that the diagram or structure of that plant means there is a no stem. Okay, so these are the way these plant also useful for us. Finally we have the halophytes. Halophytes, that is a problematic plant, and these plant also useful for us, like as a you very well aware about that jalkumbi and bulrush, sorry, and common reed we can also see, means इस तरह के प्लांट जो पानी के अंदर ग्रो हो सकते, जो that wetland में जो ग्रो हो सकते हैं, दैट प्लांट मर्शी ग्राउंड में जो मर्शी ग्राउंड में जो ग्रो हो सकते हैं, ऐसे प्लांट वी कैन से द हेलोफाइट्स. So these are also useful for us because that kind of land are also the unusable for us, but that plant are useful for us. Next is the type of biomass. So there is a 3 type of biomass we can achieve by using energy crops: solid biomass, gas, and liquid biomass. Solid biomass, as you know that what are the stem, twigs are the solid biomass of your crop, and there is a 2 very popular plant species like as a willow and poplar very useful for them, and some different kind of companies and that biotech companies are utilizing these plants for the production of biomass. Like as other example of that, sugarcane also you can use. Gas biomass, you can have the different kind of application like as a Sudan grass, maize, that millet, white sweet clover, and these plants also useful for the biogas production also. So biogas also have the different kind of advantages. We can use that biogas for the cooking purpose, as you can say that we can replace by LPG. Liquid biomass we also require, like as a suppose that you want to produce biodiesel, then you should have higher amount of liquid. So you are thinking about the क्या liquid we can collect with the help of that tree. So do you have answer? So liquid, here we are talking about the oil content of the particular plant, okay? Na ki, we are not talking here about the H2O. So oil content should be higher in a particular plant. So here we have different kind of plant species. Here we have a different kind of oil concentration. Like as here you can see that copra plant having the highest amount of oil content after having the castor seed. So if you suppose that if you want to produce higher amount of bioethanol, so we should that particular crop should have the higher content of oil. So here we can utilize genetic engineering to produce to increase the oil content in a particular species. Liquid biomass utilized for the, as we also I already told to you, for the biofuel production. Like as you can take the example of bioethanol production. So here we know that different kind of substrate we can utilize for the bioethanol. Like as here we can say that substrate as a feedstock, and different kind of microorganism also able to produce bioethanol by using fermentation. Here we can say that, here we can look that diagram. So you know that corn is able to produce for that bioethanol, and these are the steps. According to that, we can able to produce bioethanol by using the corn. Another diagram, here you can see that you can compare both diagram. In first diagram we are using the corn, in second diagram we are using the rice straw for the production of bioethanol. So see here, there is a different is very huge area, and there is a lot of plant species, lot of things that we can utilize for the bioethanol production. Next one is the very important biodiesel. Also we have the produce by using the energy crops. So here the major criteria of a particular energy crop, that is the oil content. Oil content should be higher. Now and lastly, if you have that new fuel, like as a biohydrogen, very good fuel for the that fuel for the vehicle, and that having the no that toxic production of any toxic gases, harmful gases by using the biohydrogen. And dark fermentation you can utilize for the biohydrogen production. Here different class of microorganisms also available for the production of biohydrogen. And here according to the microorganisms we are able to choose the that feedstock or that from biomass of plant. Here we have the example of sugarcane, and we can utilize for that production of biohydrogen is the E. coli you can use, and this the thermophilic bacteria you can use for the production of biohydrogen. And next one is that what is the importance of biohydrogen. Here you can say that is a useful for the disposal of waste and agriculture residues, and we can able to produce biohydrogen by using ambient temperature and pressure. And this is a renewable sustainable energy source. As I already told to you the word of application of the word of sustainable. Less production of like the toxic gases like the carbon monoxide, hydrogen sulfide. Next is the last that very important thing is that future role of energy group. So I think after that end of that topic you can able to give the answer of this question. The various feedstock can contribute to meet bioenergy demand, including energy crops, wooden biomass, residue from agriculture, forestry, organic waste from household and industry, as well as algae and aquatic biomass useful for the production of that kind of fuel. So this is the very that is a burning area that for the study. And I think I suggest to you student, you can choose that kind of things for your major project purpose in your final year in the 7th semester. So you can find a particular solution of that kind of problem. You can compare different kind of plants for the energy production. You can compare different kind of seeds for the oil content, and finally you can conclude that, and you can tell the particular scientist community that plant having the so much amount of oil content, and that is useful for the bioethanol production, okay, and biodiesel production. And you can generate some different kind of review paper also by using this field. Okay, so thank you students for your kind attention.